Last week I showed you 5 items that look terrible on skinny guys, but in today's video I'm going to be showing you 5 items that look awesome on you. You guys have demanded this one. I recently showed you a video where I featured several items that are apparently great for skinny guys that actually just look terrible on. In today's video I'm going to be showing you 5 items that just look consistently good on skinnier guys. And to be honest, I think that the 5 items from today's video just look good on guys, full stop. But the aesthetics of these particular items really tailor themselves to guys who are quite slim. The first item of clothing that looks good on skinny guys is a jacket. And my personal favourite jackets as a relatively slim bloke, bomber jackets. These jackets are fantastically versatile as well as looking decent on skinnier guys. Bomber jackets generally seem to fit pretty well through the arms. They've also got the elastic at both the wrists and the waist to keep these hugging slightly better to your body. Whereas other types of jackets don't seem to really have these features, and as a result, they don't tend to look quite as good on skinnier men. These look great whether you're wearing a collared shirt like I am at the moment, or if you're wearing a t-shirt instead, still looks really nice. And they're just one of those items that you can really use a lot on a day-to-day basis. You can be as casual as anything in this, or if you really wanted to go for something a bit more formal, you can still get that to a little extent with bomber jackets. And also, if you were looking for a leather jacket, I always find that the leather bomber jackets just look great. The second item of clothing that looks consistently great on skinnier guys is low-cut sneakers, or trainers, or whatever you call them where you're from, but I always find that these are a much better alternative for skinnier guys than the high tops are. I've spoken about the disadvantages of big, bulky, high top trainers in the past. If you're a guy with quite thin legs, these really make your legs look even narrower and shorter in proportion to the really large shoes you've got on. Because this style of trainers are much more low profile, they just make your legs look slightly bigger in comparison to the shoes that you've got on. Very useful and versatile for casual wear. You can go for either the leather version, which tends to be my favourite on a practical point of view, but also you can go with the suede if you wanted to as well. The third clothing item that looks particularly good on skinny guys is crew neck sweaters. The online men's style community has an absolute fetish for V-neck jumpers. But as a guy with quite narrow shoulders, I find that the V-necks tend to pull my shoulders in visually. It makes me look a little bit more narrow. Whereas I find that the straightness, really, of the crew neck jumpers gives my shoulders visually a little bit more width. I pointed out the disadvantages of V-necks in the past when it comes to skinny guys. But really, when it comes down to it, I just find that I get more compliments when I'm wearing crew necks. I also find that visually, when I look in the mirror at myself, I just think it just looks right. If these are something that you haven't tried before, I'd certainly recommend giving them a go, but there's a couple of things you need to consider. Make sure it fits well on the sleeves, especially around the wrist, and also around the neck. These are the 2 areas that separate a jumper that looks great from a jumper that looks like your granddad's. Look for one with a decent amount of actually functioning elasticity around the wrists and also a little bit around the neck. The fourth item of clothing that looks consistently good on skinny guys is a really creased top. Maybe creased, but it's a really good fitting polo shirt. As a guy with a smaller frame, polo shirts have the advantage of sitting slightly higher up the neck when you compare them to typical t-shirts. And this is great because loads of typically skinny and lanky guys have got quite long necks, and as a result, sometimes when you're wearing something that's lower cut, it can make you look like a bit of a giraffe. When you've got a polo shirt with a relatively stable and decent collar, ideally one that's pinned down a bit, it just visually takes away a bit of that excess neck area. Also, make sure that it fits really well on the arm, because although the torso can often be okay in many of these things, I find that the sleeves are really where loads of polo shirts get let down. So you've got to find one that's as tight as you can get around this area, or potentially as an option to put under the sweater that I've just shown you. And the fifth clothing item that looks consistently good on skinnier guys is tighter than average trousers. Loads of guys seem to get triggered when I say this. Oh no, straight cut, loose fit, they're the only fits of jeans that men should own. And although I can sort of understand that point of view, it's incorrect. My size 7.5 shoes aren't going to fit every man in the world, so why would my jeans? Jeans come in many different fits and styles, so you've got to go with one that's actually going to fit your body type. If you're a guy that's got incredibly thin legs and you're wearing regular to baggy fit trousers, they're going to absolutely swamp you. The way I look at it is you've got to at least try and obtain the same visual look as a guy with average size legs in average size trousers. which means that you're going to have to try something slightly slimmer than average, such as the slim fit trousers, the tapered, or you can go for the skinny fit if you've got really small legs. And if you want your legs to not look like incredibly thin cocktail sticks, then this is certainly the way to go. In fact, I did a video recently covering the many different types of slightly tighter fitting jeans, so if you want to watch that one, it's got all the information you need about which one to go for. I'll link that in the cards right now so you can go and watch that one, and I'll also leave it in the end screen in a second. I want to know in the comments section below, out of these 5 items, how many have you got and which ones do you own? If you like this video, make sure you leave the video a like, and if you want to see similar videos about your hair and what to wear, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also turn on notifications so YouTube will tell you every single time I upload. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.